So, wait, what? So we just recorded a really. I'm going to go out on the limb here. I'm going to say a really impressive and professional trailer breakdown.
Oh yeah, it was some of our best work, without a doubt.
Some of the best work. Stay tuned, folks. It'll be out soon, or if you are listening to this podcast right now, it's already out. Go check it out.
You've seen it, and
you've seen it. You've seen it.
You'll agree with how good it is.
Welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. This is episode 54, and we are back off our summer holidays.
And what a summer! What a summer it's been.
It's weird, like the weird heat wave we had. It like ended on Sunday, just gone, and then Monday just autumn. Yeah, autumn's hit. Yeah, it was like end of the day. It was so weird. But fuck an English heat wave. English heat waves suck. Oh, it's miserable. Horrible. Absolutely miserable. But yes, I am Tom, and welcome to the Dreadcast, and lovely co-host Aidan over here.
Hello.
Who is on my mirrored left, but he's probably right here. So, today's episode. I mean, today's episode fills the quota, so there's no preamble needed unless we've got some. Today's episode fills our weekly quota, and if you're not familiar with that, we like to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre every now and then. We just love it. We just like to talk about it because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to just sprinkle that into a conversation every now and then?
Because it's brilliant.
Most of it is.
I mean,
we'll get into that.
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is brilliant, but we are
brilliant.
Diverting slightly by talking about one of the less good ones.
Yes, we'll get into all of that good stuff in a moment. Before we do that, we normally have some business to take care of. And if you'll divulge me for a second. So indulge. I've used that word wrong. I'm going to stick with divulge because it's wrong.
Okay, I'll indulge.
Can you indulge my divulge?
I'll indulge your divulgence. Yes.
Woof.
Go for it.
So checking out the Dreadcast mailbag the other day, and by the way, folks, you can send in the mail. I'm getting it out of the way now. You can send in some mail to us, and we'll talk horror questions. We'll talk trivia on the podcast, and you'll get named on the podcast. You'll be famous. Okay. But just before I get into it, where can they send it to us?
They can send it to the dreadcastpod@gmail.com. That is the dreadcastpod@gmail.com.
That's the one. Now, someone took that to heart and they started signing us up for stuff.
Excellent. Oh, great.
So, someone has signed us up to WordPress from Switzerland. There's a lot of letters here I don't recognise and words I don't recognise. Unique Wellness. Yeah, there's someone signed us up to that. Elder Scrolls Online. Creator VC. I'm not sure what this is. It's I think it's video editing software.
Is that a hint?
That's
Tom's does you do excellent. That's excellent.
What are you
video
trying to
editing.
say?
I'm not trying to say nothing, but somebody.
Is it you?
And,
are you the one that's been doing this?
Of course not. I can't criticise. You do all the work.
It's true.
I can't say anything about it. I just show up.
Just turn up, talk about horror films, and walk away. That's about it, really.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So yeah, I just wanted to just point that out there that hey, that someone's taking notice of the email address.
Well, yeah, thanks
so
for that.
Thank you.
So it's good that we're giving you something to spend your precious free time on.
you thought it would annoy us, but no, you just gave us attention.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to what the Elder Scrolls Online thing is. Do we get free stuff?
No, I think a bot took the email address, put it on. It was like, validate your password, or sort your password out. So, yeah, that's a shame. The other thing I wanted to say, got a lot of comments on our Exorcist Believer trailer breakdown.
There are a lot.
Yeah, which I hadn't clocked. They're from 6 days ago. From a one.
Ooh.
In fact, no. I probably shouldn't keep giving out people's YouTube tags online. I'm just gonna call this person George. But if people can find it, they'll go. No, because if they want to find the tag, they'll go to the video and then they'll get the view. You see, I know how to scam these people. They won't hear that. So this is from I'm going to call him George. And are you on the video at all? Have you seen it?
I am looking now. Yeah, I am.
He commented 4 times. So the most, I don't know. There isn't a most recent one. I'll go from the top. This one it says they're gonna treat her better, probably. I'm not sure what they mean by her. I mean, maybe Ellen Burstyn. Is it me, or are they acting like Michael Myers, not saying anything, staring out the window, staring at their reflection? Now the problem is these comments. I'm trying to remember the trailer and things that happened in it.
Yeah, I can't.
So I'm not sure about that one.
I remember.
Whoa! Oh my god. Okay, these are long. Maybe the demon plan in this one is about getting Chris to come and mess with her, maybe kill or possess her. Similar to the original Pazuzu plan was for them to bring the priest so they could get revenge and possess the other priest. That's true, right? That is. I mean, we just talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's in the lot on.
Is it the plan? Is there a plan? I don't.
Maybe not a plan, but he knew the priest.
Well, yeah, I suppose because. Well, yeah, I guess, but.
What else we got? Okay, that's quite a big comment. We'll look at that after, George. Anybody else get flashbacks to the Delphi case? The Delphi case, where you see the 2 girls going off. There's a lot of plans going on here.
There are a lot of
to be in place at the time. There's a woods boom. They disappeared. Everyone's looking for them. The Delphi case. That sounds like something that happened in real life, maybe.
Delphi case. I'm just having a look at that. I don't know what that is. I'm getting a lot of. If you Google the phrase Delphi case, there's a lot of programming related things. So I don't think that's right.
The Delphi case. Well,
Delphi is a town.
I found it.
Delphi murders. Is that
yeah. If you Google search the Delphi case, the first result is an Independent article. The paper, the Independent. What we know about.
I think I found it. Yeah.
Delphi murders. Abigail Williams and Libby German or German. Teenagers Libby German and Abby Williams were murdered back in February. More than 6 years on. Okay, so it's a murder. It's a mystery about these murders. Then I see. I feel like I see what he's saying about it's 2 young girls that were murdered. There's a mystery behind it, and the 2 young girls and the ex-believer, and going to the woods, and there's a mystery behind what they've come back with. I guess.
Okay.
I can kind of see where he's going with that. All right.
Maybe there was some inspiration there. I mean, I'm guessing this. Yeah, Delphi, Indiana. This is an American case. I don't think it was widely reported over here. It's news to me, at any rate.
I mean, this is a Tuesday for America, isn't it? Like, this is a week for Florida. I've been very harsh on the Americans today. I'm very sorry.
You are. You really are.
I love you all. I'm very sorry. It's not you. It's the higher ups. Okay.
Okay. Back to the comment. So get flashbacks to the Delphi case. So maybe there was some inspiration there.
Yeah.
What was the other one? This looks awesome. There's no scene shown of girl pissing on a carpet, but that's a plus in my book.
Not in our books.
I mean, that's the best bit.
That's the most horrifying bit.
Well, I mean,
that's a comment.
There's some comments. There's some thoughts here.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely.
Really appreciate you putting the time.
I think I need more time to read this and not just be like silent on
yes
dead air. The pod. Dead air while I'm reading
air.
But thank you, Georgine Lawson.
Yes. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
putting the time. Actually, do you know what? We've joked
Yeah,
last
no,
week,
there's definitely
putting the time and
involved.
communicating with us with this. Because so thank you very much. And if you do this to the podcast, then well, I hope you do, because otherwise we've just thanked air. But thank you for listening if you do. And we hope to communicate with you more in the future.
Yeah, and maybe get once the Believer's out and we've all seen it, and we can compare some notes on that.
For sure. So in our little break time off, I haven't really got anything new. We'd like to do a little show and tell here. I haven't really got anything new since the last one, which was Return of the Living Dead, where I popped up the Tarman, the Halloween 2 thing. How about yourself? Anything new in your horror world, sir?
Nothing new that I own, but there's been a little bit of news that I've sort of found out about and come across today or over the last couple of days. So I'll share that if I may. Primark is selling Freddy vs. Jason hoodies.
Shut up.
Because we've been waiting for them. It's just another I feel like this is the latest in a long line of random Primark licensing that they've just...
Everyone shut your ass right now.
It's like they've bought a mixed bag of like licenses that they're allowed to use, and the next one on the pile is Freddy versus Jason. There may be other stuff as well, Halloween horror related, but I've definitely seen the FVJ stuff. And
as in you've been into Primark or seen them?
No. I've just seen a lot of posts about it. I'm yet to actually see it in person, but I'm down for it. I may well treat myself to a Freddy vs. Jason Primark hoodie.
Here we go. 12th of September 2023 at TikTok. Horror hoodies Primark Freddy vs. Jason. I mean, the only excuse I can give it is that, is it not 20 years since it came out?
Is it?
I think it was 2003. I'm going to check.
It might be. It might well be, but it's still an odd thing. I think they've also got some Nightmare Before Christmas stuff out as well.
Yeah,
as part of that.
2003.
Oh, right, okay. So, but even so, of all the things, it's Primark are deciding to commemorate that, the anniversary. It gets weirder the more you say it, doesn't it?
Of all shops.
Of all the
shops, yeah.
But yeah, I'm down for it. I might go and have a peruse and actually pick something up. What they need to do is get some Valentine t-shirts printed up, I reckon.
My book's downstairs.
Because
they do.
I'm still looking for that. But
hey, just accidentally purchase it like I did.
But yeah, random Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy vs. Jason apparel. I'm down for it.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild. I want to go into it. I'm off all next week and tomorrow as well. I need to try and find the Primark.
I'm gonna nip down on Saturday, I think, to my local one and check it out. That will certainly bring some more eyes. That will certainly bring some more eyes to the podcast. Yeah.
Us in our Freddy vs. Jason match.
I want matching Freddy vs. Jason merch.
I want a cap as well, on a scarf. Like, we're all just wearing all the merch.
All of it. Like Joey and Friends when he gets all the Porsche.
Yes.
The Porsche merch. Just head to toe in Primark Freddy vs. Jason wear. I'm down for that.
They sold all their Greg's merchandise, and they were like, right, what can we do next? What's hot? Freddy vs. Jason.
That's what the kids are talking about.
That's what they want. That's what they want. See, that's a shame because we've already done Freddy vs. Jason on the Dreadcast. That would have been perfect. I mean, not perfect, but you know what I mean. It would have fitted just right with our merch.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, I like Freddy vs. Jason. I've seen it too many times, more than I probably should have done, but I do enjoy it.
It's just a Freddy film. It's a shitty Freddy film with Jason sprinkled in.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I ended up watching it a lot. I ended up watching it a lot in a short space of time as well, which I think was the weirder part
Jason,
of it. But
Jason X is better.
Jason X, is it better? I feel like it's on a par.
Once again, not in a good way. It's like, do you know what? It's like how, just off the top of my head, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation is better than the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh, I disagree, sir.
Well, we'll get into that in a moment, then, sir. Putting that out there right now.
I mean, only slightly, but yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
In other news, that what I have learned recently is the final Romero Living Dead movie now has a director.
Yeah, I believe I briefly saw this pop up on Bloody Disgusting.
Yeah.
What's it
so
called?
I saw it. I think it was announced about a week ago now, but it was. I think it was this morning. In fact, that I saw it. So it's Twilight of the Dead, and Brad Anderson is on board to direct.
Does that name sound familiar?
Which is kind of cool, and because I had no idea that there was going to be a final Romero film. This Twilight of the Dead was complete news to me. I had no idea that it was even on the cards. So Brad Anderson, I think his biggest movie is probably The Machinist.
Oh, with Christian Bale.
With Christian Bale.
Wow. Okay.
I did have a look at his credits earlier, and that was the biggest one. He does have, in terms of horror, under his belt, Session 9.
That
Which is a possession exorcism movie, I believe. I haven't seen it yet, but it's been on my list for a while. I keep seeing it and thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to watch that at some point. Haven't done yet. But
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Session 9. Bloody hell. My lights and my keyboard are dying. I can't see what I'm typing.
what else has he done? The Man in the High Castle TV series.
Session 9. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of other stuff. A couple of episodes of Boardwalk Empire. He's done quite a lot, but I must admit, not much that I've seen, to be quite honest.
Machinist is good. Machinist is very good.
Machinist is good. Yeah, and then, he's done a few episodes here and there of some big shows.
Yeah.
The Wire and Boardwalk Empire. Movie wise,
So
nothing I'm overly familiar with, but
I only knew about this new Romero film. Like I said, I briefly saw the Bloody Disgusting article. I haven't read into it. So this, I assume, is to do with that he's obviously passed away, Romero. It's obviously his estate. And did he have like a notes for this written like years and years ago that just never came to fruition, or?
not sure. Couldn't tell you. Haven't read into it myself either.
Okay. Yeah.
Literally just saw that headline. I was like, oh, right, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea about it. But the little bit of the article I did see kind of suggested that it was. It's not. It's got his name on it more, not just because it's his franchise, but yeah, possibly it's been built off notes or a working script or something like that. It's got more of Romero's involvement than just the fact that it's an Of the Dead film.
Right.
But I could be wrong. It was just like I say, I skimmed this article. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll mention that on the pod tonight.
It is cool, but
the last few sequels haven't been great.
So
or good.
We go night, dawn, day, land, diary, survival, and now twilight.
Yeah.
Now, night, day, dawn. Night, dawn, day.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. You can go sit over there. You can go chill. All good.
You're through to the next round.
You're through to the next round. You're through to the showcase showdown. There's a reference for you folks, and you're fine. Now, land, you stay here for a minute. Land is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's a. I like to use the word the phrase fun romp. It's a fun romp horror. It's not scary. It's not. I mean, they're not too scary, but they all have their subtle messages, from the era they were created. And Land does kind of have one. And then Diary, it's basically Romero going, the kids these days, what do they love? They love the
found footage.
Found footage.
What's popular.
They love the found footage, and it's fucking awful. It is terrible. I have not seen Survival of the Dead.
I don't think I have either. Don't think I have. If I have, it must be very, very forgettable. Actually, yes, I have seen it. It's the one set on the island, and it is very, very forgettable. I can't tell you anything about it, but I know I have. I'm just looking at a still from it now.
Yeah,
and I know I've seen it.
Oh boy.
There are soldiers, I think. It's set on an island. I think it's kind of like Day.
Okay, yeah.
Soldiers versus civilians in an isolated setting, being an island, I think. But yeah, I've seen it once and don't really remember anything about it.
I mean, its budget was $4 million and it made just under 400 grand. The little synopsis I got here on Google is: zombies have taken over the world, and a ragtag band of soldiers, led by Sarge Crockett, roams the countryside trying to scavenge what they can. Constantly on guard against flesh eaters, the group is intrigued when they hear of a safe haven on Plum Island.
Oh, there we go. So
they hear. Yeah. But when they arrive, they find the supposed paradise torn apart by family feud between O'Flynn's. This is a bit.
So there is a conflict.
That's a bit convoluted as well, if I'm honest, for a zombie film. Like, ooh.
And again, it turns into what the thing that I hate the most about zombie films is the zombies aren't the threat; it's the people.
Yeah.
The people. Yeah. It's like take the zombies out of that, and you've still got a movie. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, that is, as much as zombies are played out, that trope, that whole plot line is way more played out, I think, than the zombies. What you just said, it's the people, not the zombies.
Yeah.
You need films like Zombie Flesh Eaters, where it is the dead are fucking coming up, back to life, and we need to do something about it.
Everything else goes on hold. Forget the feud. Forget the family feud.
That's it. So yeah, Twilight of the Dead. I mean, I think we should look into that, see what's what, and we'll talk about it again on the next episode.
Again, I guess can't expect greatness, but it's a soft spot for Romero zombie films, I guess, even though they are
rubbish.
Well, 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah, 50-50. In fact, you're exactly right. 50-50. Yeah, 6. Yeah. Okay. Is that the news roundup?
That is, there was something else, but I've forgotten what it was, so it can't have been anything. I can remember thinking earlier, should I write it down? No, I'll remember. No, I haven't remembered. It won't have been anything exciting. The Primark Freddy vs. Jason merch was the big one. Yeah,
if you're after all the hot horror news, goss, don't come to our podcast.
Don't come to
because you won't get it. Okay, you got two bumbling, rambling buffoons just reading what they find on the internet or on their phones for the last week and go, hey, look what I saw.
Did you read this?
Look what I saw.
Can't tell you anything more about it, but I saw it.
All right. Let's there's the segue. Let's get into this 3.3 out of 10 on IMDb. I forgot you had it. That's how you originally watched it in the first place.
Yes.
Oh wait,
yes.
put it back up. Put it back up. Put it back up. I want to see it. I want to see. There's so many varieties of this.
So it is the
cover.
widescreen edition.
Oh, well, I should hope so. Not a 4x3. So, folks, the audio listeners, Aiden is throwing up in the
brandishing
to his DVD copy of this week's film, which is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Next Generation. Not so much canonically, but in the series, part 4. And was also called Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
I don't know which one's worse.
If looks could kill, he wouldn't need a chainsaw.
Wait, what?
Which I'm guessing...
Wait, what?
If looks could kill, he wouldn't need a chainsaw. I'm guessing is a reference to Leatherface.
Yeah, because
who plays a very minimal part in this movie. Really?
He's barely part of it. But he is a lot more flamboyant looking wise and a lot more well put together. His face isn't as his mask isn't as grotesque and I mean it's still
no, in fact it looks very much like it's made of plasticine.
Yeah, and also on your cover there, that is a female in a Leatherface mask brandishing a chainsaw, right?
Yes, yes, certainly. Well, kind of. I mean, it certainly, for the most part, looks like a female. But then check out the gun. Check out the right arm there. That is.
Oh, it could be.
That's a
wow.
Is a 22-inch python right there. That is a proper.
Wait, out of all the lies Hulk Hogan's told in his fucking life, and I'm aware of them.
And I've been reading about a few of them today, actually.
you know he was part of Metallica, right?
Despite Lars Ulrich being on record saying he's never heard of it or never met him.
He's such a loser. That could be Hulk Hogan there.
It could be. I mean, you know, why not? It could be.
But yeah, this. So I mentioned this film a while back, but I can't remember if you randomly picked it up and I was just like, "Oh my god, you're watching it," or did I mention it and then you got it?
You have previously mentioned that you are quite partial to this film, just in our general chats about well, movies generally, but obviously particularly the franchise. You have made it quite clear to me that you like this. Me and my girlfriend, or my girlfriend and I, have been recently watching all the movies in the franchise. So this was one that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So I recently acquired it so we could go. This was actually we watched the first remake. We've still got a couple more to do, but
first remake is solid.
Yeah, big fan. I like that one. I was very happy to get this one out of the way.
Yeah.
I was less happy to have to watch it again because we were doing this episode and I couldn't remember anything about it.
How can you forget major milestone moments in this film?
Because I was trying to repress the memory of having suffered it.
So, how dare you suffer it? So, okay, this, as we've discussed in length, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is probably one of the worst in, let's say, major horror franchises where there is a steep decline over. You know, Halloween has its ups and downs and then declines. Friday the 13th. Has a peak in the middle in a way with 4, 5, and 6 maybe, you know. Mm-hmm. Hellraiser declines. So, but I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre really, I mean, obviously peaked with 1. It's a perfect horror film.
It's one good movie and that's it.
I love 2. I do love 2.
I like 2. I do, but it's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
No, it's a completely different film.
and it's not like I don't want to say it's not Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it is.
Yeah.
But it had to do something very different, radical, and it's got a cult following. I don't think it was successful at the time. It's grown on people after the fact, and it's like, oh yeah, we like that it's because it's very 80s in it. We like it's very much of a product of its time. It's very camp. It's very silly. It introduced to some new characters and stuff. And it apart from the setting's very different, I think.
Are you still talking about 2 here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. But then, following 2, I think you get a problem, and it's one of my main criticisms with Next Generation is everybody then had a go at making Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 again.
Yeah, you're completely right.
It's like, and I didn't make a lot of notes on this, but one of my main notes is, and I'm just going to get it out of the way now, that it's like someone was asked to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre after being told the plot by someone who watched it once 40 years ago, and they've gone, yeah, I think this bit happens, and then this bit happens, and then this bit happens. Right, got you. I'll go and make that movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's different enough that we could call it a sequel.
They have their scenarios and their plot points, and they're like, right, fill in the gaps, go. That's it. Problem is, well, what you're saying, like, I completely agree, but this is directed by one of the co-creators of the original. And he was Kim Henkel has been involved with nearly all of them, and it just is still doing the same thing over and over again.
Literally the same thing, down to Leatherface breaks a door and gets told off for it. Somebody jumps out of a window. We'll have a dinner table scene.
Yep.
There are tropes for movies, and there are tropes for franchise. For a franchise like Jason wears a hockey mask. But then there are tropes for Texas Chainsaw Massacre films that are so weirdly specific. Somebody's going to jump out of a window. Leatherface is going to smash a door. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Do we need it? The callbacks to be that specific?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a case of laziness or trying to elicit the reaction of, I know that, I recognize that. I remember. Oh, that happened in the original. Oh, remember that? Do you remember that? That was great. Do you remember? I saw that. I mean,
we know, like, modern movies and stuff. They do like those member berries. It does happen.
Member berries,
quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is the most guilty for it.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it just really stinks for me in this installment. I just think, just do something else.
Yeah. No, I mean, you say that there is we'll get into it, and don't worry, I don't plan for us. I say this a lot, but for this one specifically, I do not plan for us to go shot by shot, scene by scene. We'll just talk about bits of the film. But you say do something else. There is a slight something else. I mean, slight. It's not great. It's not good. But there is a slight something else that they just threw in the last 10 minutes of the film, barely elaborated on, and that was it. You know, I don't know if they were hoping, oh my God, studios are going to see this and go, we can get a sequel. We can get a sequel out of this, and we can follow on from this.
We're talking about Rothman, right? We're talking about.
Of course, we're talking about Rothman. Yeah.
And it's got to be sequel baiting, or it's like somebody went, shit, we had we had pages of the script stuck together, and they went, oh no, quick.
So this film is basically the same as for 1 and 3. 2 stands on its own. 2 is a bit.
I think two's different enough. Yeah, I think two does do something I guess, kind of compared with the rest of them, definitely kind of radically different in terms of the setup and things like that. Go on.
Three. Sorry, I was about to say what we said earlier about 3 being better than 4.
Yeah, I stand by it. I was more entertained by it, definitely. I found it a lot more entertaining. It might have been because it was Keenan's dad's.
Oh yeah, your discovery of it being Ken Foree. yeah. I mean,
completely forgot.
Ken Foree and Aragon. Christ, what's his name?
Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me about this film that I jokingly, but at the same time, have a slight little. I don't like to use the word guilty pleasure because if you like something, you like something. I don't care. To me, NSYNC better than Backstreet Boys. I'll die on that hill. Okay. Yeah. All right. You want to go? You want to get into that? All right.
That's for another episode.
That's for another episode. Britney Spears'
let's
best
fight
song.
one battle at once here.
Britney Spears' best song is Crazy. Whatever. I'll die on that hill as well. This to me though is a guilty pleasure because I know it's not great. I know it's pretty shit, but I prefer the second half because I adore Matthew McConaughey turning it up to 11.
I mean, he's having a whale of a time.
11. This man is having the best time of his life on a set. He's
just absolute bonkers. Yeah.
You say Matthew McConaughey. This film is, well, it's not their debuts, but close enough to a Hollywood debut of Renée Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. It's just, you wouldn't think it in a film like this.
Kind of wonder how they got a career on the back of this.
Oh my god, how? I believe they're both Oscar winners. I know Matthew McConaughey is. I don't know about Renée Zellweger. I think she won it for a couple of years back for Judy Garland film.
I will find out.
Okay. Wow. But I got into this film, and I'm going to plug him because there was once a horror podcast called Creature Features. It was about 10 years ago, and it was run by a guy called Chunky Larry. He's an American guy.
He's a multi-award winner.
She's a multi.
She's got 4.
Well, she just missed out on the one for Texas Chainsaw 4 Next Generation. Just missed out on it. And I used to listen to his podcast, and they did an episode on this, but they did it. They talked it shot by shot by shot, and listening to that just it was something about listening to it made me enjoy the film more because they were having so much fun talking about the film. They knew it wasn't a serious Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. It wasn't scary. It wasn't horror. So I was having fun with it, and then I rewatched it. I was like, yeah, this is so dumb that I love it. I love the second half. The first half is boring. It's so boring. Nothing happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's. Do you want to just run through the plot? Do you want to just do a quick synopsis?
Well, I mean, it's your film, so you go through and
describe. All right. Okay. So it is your usual sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fare, but the sort of main beats of it are it's prom night for 4 teenagers, Renée Zellweger being one of them. So it's her and her boyfriend and a friend and her boyfriend, and all 4 of them. They have some fun at prom, and they zip out they have there's a bit of an argument, and
we don't even see the prom.
No,
we don't even see it. It's
we do get prom photos using that. They
love that sound.
But it's used in the worst way. Yeah. I like that sound as well. You're watching a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film when they put that sound in and they ruin it. In this one, they use it in a bad way.
It's like it's ma.
It is. Yeah. But yeah, so prom, and they drive off. They have a minor car crash and a bump with the car, and my dad's gonna kill me, and off they go. And suddenly find themselves in like backwoods banjo country where none of them know where they are. It's only like 20 minutes up the road, and they're suddenly hopelessly lost in like murderer country. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
They come across they come across another car accident and they find an office. Is she a travel agent or it's just some
I don't know
random,
what she is.
what she is. Darla is she called? Anyway, who phones for a tow truck. The tow truck turns up and is driven by Vilma, Matthew McConaughey's psycho character, I guess.
Who instantly basically gives it away he's a killer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you, boy.
I'm gonna
kill you, boy.
And everybody's very underwhelmed by it. Like, that kid's just kind of jogging along the road as he's being chased in the car.
Please, sir.
Oh, please, mister. Oh, I'm kind of tired now. It's just so weak.
I did know that.
No.
He's pathetic.
It is. But yeah, they've driven a relatively short. How can they have driven a relatively short distance out of their town and suddenly be in banjo country and not know where they are? That's the biggest one for me.
I like the term banjo country. That's
banjo
great.
country.
That's great. No, you're right, because like even with the first one, same sort of plot device scenario, drive in and they end up somewhere. But at least they're on a trip in the first.
Yeah,
one.
they're on a trip. They are out in the middle of nowhere. They're in territory. Well, it's family farm they're looking for, but they don't know the area. They're out in the middle of nowhere. This is like literally 20 minutes up the road, and they're lost in the forest. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, they all everybody kind of ends up at the house or a house. That's
what? I don't believe that.
The Slaughter family.
Yeah.
Leatherface pops up, throws somebody in a freezer, hits somebody with a hammer, throws somebody else on a meat hook. Go.
He struggles with the freezer.
He does struggle with the freezer. We have some slapstick with the freezer. All the while he's screaming his head off for some reason.
Non-stop.
Just constantly.
But yeah,
Then they do the feeding grandpa dinner table with Renée Zellweger. Matthew McConaughey's character has a robot leg for some reason.
Why? Tell me why.
The twist that we have with the cook in the original is Darla. She's obviously
it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. She stops for pizza, drive-through pizza, and has a chat with a cop while Renée Zellweger's in the trunk.
One thing, compared to her and the cook, though, she is really shit at using a stick to beat someone up. It's pathetic.
And then, but during that sort of dinner, then we have another Slaughter family member, W.E., I think he's called, who quotes Ulysses S. Grant a lot.
Yes.
And then they just have a big fight. The family just have a big row. And just slap. It's like the Three Stooges. They're slapping each other and... Yeah, there's a lot of that. And then Renée Zellweger can't decide if she's like one of them now or wants to leave, because she has several opportunities to leave and doesn't. And then is like all of a sudden hysterically like frightened. And then she's like, "Now you stop that out," and tells Leatherface to sit down. You just sit down, and he does. And then a chap in a limo turns up.
Keep going. Keep going. It gets better. Keep going.
He's responsible for all of this, but it's gone wrong.
What does he look like?
What does he look like? I mean, I don't know. He just looks like he looks a little bit like Judd Nelson in Airheads. Little guy.
What does he look like when he rips his shirt open?
Oh, I can't remember. I think I skipped over that bit.
What?
Go on.
Oh,
I can't remember.
He's got pierced rings hanging off with like this weird monolithic scarring all over, like a...
Oh, I've totally blocked that out.
Oh, I'll find it for you. Don't worry. You carry on.
So anyway, eventually, Renée Zellweger does get out. She does run away, and Leatherface is chasing her, and she gets in this Winnebago of a passing, retired couple on their holidays. And she jumps in there, and you think, oh, she's got away. But then, Leatherface turns up in the back of a pickup truck.
It's there.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Oh, I'd totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, look, what is it?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That was obviously something for the part 5 that never came. Madness. And then a plane comes and knocks Vilma over. For some reason, there's a plane.
Oh, the crop duster, yeah.
The crop duster is just there. Anyway, then Rothman, the weird pierced suited guy, picks her up and says, "Oh, I'm really sorry that all happened.
Sorry about
I'll take you to the hospital." And she does.
Yeah.
And then in the hospital we have Sally going past on a gurney, and it ends with Leatherface dancing, and that's it.
It's a wild movie.
It's a wild ride.
Absolutely.
And some of those scenes take far too long to get through. Like they drag out some of that stuff for no reason. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, it's like there's a lot of beats from the original. A lot of things happen in the original and some of the other sequels. So you know you're watching a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Right down to somebody getting bonked on the head with a hammer and twitching a bit, and somebody going on a meat hook, and somebody jumping out of a window. And then we have all this mad stuff with somebody with a robot leg.
Why has he got a robot leg, Ace?
I don't know why he's got a robot leg, Tom. I don't know.
Why do all the remote controls that he has that look like VHS or
it's like there's at least
CD
3
player,
remotes for that.
why do they suddenly are they able to control his robotic leg?
I don't know. They like turn it on and off again, and it malfunctions, and people regularly steal the remotes to activate and deactivate his leg at various points.
This fucking film. Now, do you know what? Before we go to the break, folks, I'm putting it out there right now. This is still better than Antrim and the Outwaters. This does not go on the list, okay?
Hands down. Hands down.
We good with that? We can agree on that.
Yeah. I agree.
Because I've still got that list. I've still got the list.
It's still 1-1. It's still 1-1.
And yet, this film is rated 3.3 on IMDb and has a Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 18%. You're going to say that's fair, aren't you?
Yeah, it's totally fair.
That's pretty fair. Yeah, that's pretty fair.
I mean, to be honest, I've got this really weird situation now where, having just described it again and having both of us laughing at it, I kind of think actually it's pretty funny, isn't it? I'm watching it again.
The film you've just described does not sound like you tell someone the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a film in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and be like, oh, okay, I've seen the first one, and it was incredible. It was terrifying, incredible. Mm-hmm. And then they tell them that plot synopsis. A guy turns up 10 minutes before the end of the film with rings pierced through his stomach and starts licking Renée Zellweger's face just after she's told Leatherface to sit down and shut the fuck up. and then she's running away, and then there's an RV of a couple that seem to refer to each other as Mr. and Mrs. last name, and then the crop duster comes and knocks Matthew Mcconaughey out with its propeller blades, but didn't chop him up. It just knocked him out with a little pool of blood. Yeah, that's a spooky, scary Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's mad. It's mad, isn't it? And like I say, for all the beats that it does make on the original, it doesn't do a lot of it. Like the house, the decor of the house. There's nothing like the furniture and the. We've got like one corpse in the bathtub, and the corpses around the dinner table, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. There's like it looks like a family of 3. You don't see them that much, but they're just there.
No.
On the dinner table, they're just propped up there. They got like a grey sort of face makeup, to make them look like a decaying corpse. But there's a real decaying corpse. I think that's the one in the bathtub, isn't it?
There's one in the bathtub that's definitely gone. Yeah, it's strange because everything happens to the 4 teenagers so quickly that you kind of get the impression that they do this a lot. Like they just there's no holds barred. But then I was also conflicted with the idea that, well, they're so close to town that how can they get away with just indiscriminately murdering everybody that comes across their path?
So close. I mean, they must be that close because of the fact Darla.
She goes to the pizza place, and this isn't like a mom and pop roadside pizza stand. This is like a franchised outlet in town. The police are stopping to have their break and lunch at or whatever. Yeah. It's weird. It's very weird.
It's an obscure feeling film. Nothing feels right. Nothing merges, nothing blends well together in this film. It feels so out of place. Everything about it is so out of place. I mean, you have beautifully, pretty much gone through the plot of this, the synopsis, because there isn't that much to really go into detail within the plot. There's a few minor differences, like we talked about, the weird twist at the end. Mm-hmm. There's also the difference between this family, quote unquote, whatever they are. But everyone still plays their same sort of role. They're part, from the other, because the 3 is similar to this as a family. There's the hunt that Leatherface does at one point through the woods, and all the same sort of, let's call them Texas Chainsaw tropes. Yeah. So you pretty much nailed all that. So there's a few other things to get into, so the family itself, right, led by one Matthew Mcconaughey playing Vilma. Like I said, we are introduced to him after they have their minor crash, and he's in his pickup truck. We're introduced to him, and within 5 minutes, we know he's the killer. There's no mystery behind him. There's zero mystery. And then he has his fun with Sean, the awful, awful actor who, please, mister, I'm tired. You think I give a fuck, son? I thought it was hilarious when he gets killed because I think he knocks him out, and then he just rides over him back and forth, and then whoop, that got him, there, he's dead now. So
please,
funny,
mister, you're scaring me.
You don't know what scaring is, son. So we got him. He said WE that we encounter. Oh, the scene where my God. So everywhere with this film because it's so rubbish. Heather and Barry are the two, shall we say, non-important high school kids. They look about late 20s.
Yeah. The fodder.
Yeah, the fodder. Well, yeah, very good. They end up at the house first, and that's where Heather gets the classic picked up, taken, put into a chest freezer trope. But before that, she sat on their outside bench. Yes, see, I love that. I love that you start smiling as soon as I start talking about this. Sat on the outside bench, and it's so comical that this is our first introduction to Leatherface. He's just, you see him kind of. Go on.
Just pause there.
Go on. Okay, I'm pausing.
Think about how Leatherface is revealed to us in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Shutters open.
Yeah. So we get that really impactful metal door slams back, whack with a hammer, body dragged in, slam door, cut away to something else.
Yeah.
Massive, impactful. What the hell have I just seen?
Yeah.
Shocking. Now continue.
I don't know if I can now. Because I'm thinking about how awesome that scene is. But I'm also thinking about how great this scene is. So Heather Heather, our young fodder dear, is sat on the swinging porch bench, and I think it's probably round the back because Barry is round the other side of the house, being threatened by WE and the shotgun.
Yeah.
No idea, just trespassing or whatever. And Barry doesn't seem phased that much, and just gets threatened and pushed into the house. Heather sat on this bench, and suddenly you see it's about top of the chest down to the waist. So this person shimmying behind her.
Literally
just shimmy
sliding in.
Entrance, so stage left, like, and starts feeling up like at the back of her hair, and she thinks it's just like a bug or something. Gets up to look around, and it's Poundland, Wish.com Leatherface, who just starts. That's when the screaming starts. He just screams and screams and screams.
It's very much like, I mean, it's something you'll see. I can't think of a particular specific example, but it'll be something you've seen in a lot of films. Scooby-Doo, where your protagonist doesn't know that the person they're interacting with is the monster, and they're like, oh, it's you. Oh, great. Oh, no, stop messing around. And then they have that moment where they see each other and both start screaming. Like, oh, I'm scared of the monster and the monster's screaming at me. And then we'll run through the same corridor 15 times. It's very much like that.
I wish that house had this. They just went back and forth.
But the tone is so far removed from a horror film, really.
Yeah, it's not scary.
From a, but certainly from, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. And I know we've had a couple of, one in part 2 definite horror comedy sequel. So it's not really like you come in from part 1 to part 4. There's been some, chicanery in the middle. But you still essentially, they were trying to make a horror film, but that is such a slapstick vaudevillian Abbott and Costello type of
to cap it off, she turns around and they're screaming at each other. To run away, she runs into him. Her direction to run away is in his direction. I mean, you kind of deserve what you got there, Heather.
Yeah.
And Leatherface then obviously struggles to keep her in the chest freezer.
Yeah,
which was hilarious because it was. It's not scary. It's not scary.
Pops out, and then he slams the door shut again, and then finds something heavy to put on it, and then all the while screaming, and it's all very ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but with the screaming, I guess they were trying to go with, in the first one, the names completely. I'm blanking on the names of the first one. When oh my god, I shouldn't be blanking. I actually I don't want to blank.
Of the character names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That's all right. That's all good.
Franklin and Sally, the obvious ones, but
Sally, here's something. Jerry. Here we go. Kirk is our first victim. Kirk is the one where Leatherface reveals himself. Yes, and then Pam walks into the house. That's it. And we get that amazing shot, downward shot of her walking up to the house. It's beautiful cinematography. Pam's the one that gets put on the meat hook, right?
Yeah.
That whole scene though has always been to me Leatherface freaking out that, oh my god, where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? What? And then it's suddenly, what have I done? Shit, what have I done? But I actually quite liked it. I quite enjoyed it because this is our family. This is what we do. But what have I done? He's a very confused soul, obviously. But,
and there's always I think that's been said before, that it's like Leatherface, he's defending his property from intruders in this. Yeah, in the original rather.
And he does scream, and he does panic in the first one, but not to this extent of just.
Oh, this is
constant.
like just constant, just constant high pitched shrieking.
Yeah.
And I think there is a scene like in the dinner scene toward later on where literally every character on screen is just shrieking all at the same time. It's absolute pandemonium.
Is this during the first or second or third fight that Vilma and Darla just have? They just beat each other up.
They're just constantly like slapping at each other. It is very Three Stooges, their whole interaction, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I can't remember specifically when it is, but there is definitely a point where everybody's just screaming.
Yeah, I can't remember. It happens.
It might be when Heather gets. Is it Heather that gets set on fire?
Yeah, they have their fun with Heather. She gets set on fire, and he's burn.
Yeah, I think it's that bit where, just everybody's shrieking.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of scenarios. So they capture Jenny Renée Zellweger, and then she does the whole escape, and then they capture her again and comes back. So there's two different scenes where like they're having their fun time, and it's all in the kitchen normally, for the most part in the kitchen. She escapes and comes back and it gets tied up on a chair again. But there's one of my favorite scenes is I think Vilma is having one of his fights with Darla, and Renée Zellweger is just side eye, sees the shotgun, picks it up, and then got them attention with the shotgun. And Vilma just takes it, puts it in his mouth, cocks it, and pulls the trigger, and he knows it's empty. Grabs it, and it's basically like a fucking Tusken Raider, where he's above his head going. And then he pulls the trigger again, and there's another shell in the chamber. But it's just one of those beautiful moments where he turns it up to 11. And this was his. I think this is maybe it's not his second film, but he says in this film, all right. And the film before this that he did was Dazed and Confused, his first big hit, which also had Renée Zellweger in it, and that's where he said that's where the all right comes from. So it fit his character, I think, the crazy southern banjo country hick.
I mean, that is kind of
him.
Arguably plays that in everything.
Yeah.
It's just different kinds of levels of acceptable crazy, I suppose. I mean, I love Matthew McConaughey. I've got a lot of time for him.
I agree.
Not a slight on his performance at all. And if it wasn't for him, I think his performance is probably the only reason why I'd ever watch this again.
Agreed. And it's great to see where he's come from like this. So, incredible actor. But I think for the most part, if you told people there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film with Renée Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, either you wouldn't be believed, or people would be like, "Oh wow, I bet it's great."
You'd think it was a new one. Yeah, you'd think it was one of the newer ones, maybe one of the newer remakes when they were established names or something like that. Yeah, not this absolute nuts, mad as a bucket of frogs, whatever it is.
And as far as the family, the first one, you've got the hitchhiker, Cook, Leatherface, and Gramps. You're still not actually sure who's who in the family. I'm fairly certain. Like, I know the Cook. When I first watched it, I thought the Cook was their dad.
Cook, yeah, I did.
Cook is the older brother.
But they are. It's three brothers. Yeah. Grandfather, and I mean, I think technically, the corpse of Grandma is there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're brothers.
This one.
I mean, we've got our grandpa again.
Yeah, who at one point after the dinner scene just picks up a knife and walks away.
And wanders off.
Just wanders off. I couldn't believe it.
Looking considerably healthier than any other iteration of Grandpa, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, this again as well. They're named as the Slaughter family in this, aren't they? Whereas it's Sawyer in originally.
Yes.
So we don't know if they're supposed to be. I mean, it's
well, that's
is it
the
a
thing.
Well, is it a direct sequel? I mean, the intro at the start, the text intro at the beginning.
I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah,
basically does allude to the fact that this is a direct sequel, doesn't it? It mentions that there in 1972 there was an incident.
Film?
Yeah.
Oh, 70. The original film was 74, but I think it's 73. Yeah, the monologue at the beginning.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
It says it mentions an original incident, and then it says there'd been subsequent incidents a few years apart, and then nothing until essentially saying like this is a continuation of what's gone before, but it can't be given.
No, there's so many problems.
Grandpa's Benjamin Button.
I mean, there's that's just one of many problems if that is what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
My main concern with that sort of timeline was the Easter egg of Sally at the end.
Yeah.
Because they state this is set in the mid-90s, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're talking 20 years after the first incident, and if this is the same family, which it's not possible.
No.
Why is Renée Zellweger is at a hospital at this point, right at the end of the film. Why is Sally on a gurney with an IV drip?
Like freshly arriving at hospital. Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, the other two people in that scene are also original cast members, Franklin and the guy that played the grandfather. Is also, I think Franklin that's pushing the gurney.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain he's in it, right?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware,
yeah.
it's those three original actors. And yeah, like you say, if that is Sally, then how is she freshly arriving at this hospital? But in what you'd assume is the aftermath of her ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
But then the house is different and everything. It just doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work for so many reasons.
Everything is different, and the fact that this family, they're not cannibals.
No,
they are doing it for what Darla informs us and informs Renée Zellweger is like a secret society that are them, and what they're kind of doing is just they're trying to just instill fear and terror into people, right? They're not.
Yeah, it's
very.
It's what Rothman kind of alludes to it, and like we're not given an explanation, and I think you're right in saying that it was possibly trying a sequel bait, something that would be explained in a sequel that never came. I took it as being like a rich weirdos doing stuff that only rich weirdos can get away with, like the Hostel kind of hunting, paying money and hunting people for sport sort of setup.
Yes, that Hostel's a great actual example of that. I thought of that as well. Yeah,
like maybe we'd find out there was a bunch of hidden cameras and people are watching a snuff movie type, real, being played out in real life, or there'd be some sort of thing like that going on, is what I interpreted it as.
The problem is with that is we're having to interpret it after 10 minutes at the end of the film of them just quickly rushing through it. There's no substance to it whatsoever. There's nothing. It's
just afterthought. I mean, this was my other, and they're not, like I say, they're not cannibals.
No, not at all.
but or at least, yeah, we're not privy to any cannibalistic behavior. I mean, Leatherface is still wearing human skin, as far as we can tell.
Doesn't it? Looks more like putty.
I mean, it does, yeah. But there's not, but there isn't the same like furniture and little sort of fetishes of human bone and stuff around the place. There is a massive wall of keys, though.
Yes, I'm so glad you saw that. I actually thought that was quite a cool little production design.
And I figured that supposed to be a souvenir from all the previous victims or something like that, which is extensive. It shows that they have been, again, which
hundreds.
It's hundreds, and it is like, if that's what it is, then yeah, that's a cool little detail. But again, doesn't really fit with the fact that they're doing this in the suburbs of a major town. It's I know, and all right, in real life we know unfortunately serial killers can operate in fairly mundane urban settings for a long time, but they're not exactly like subtle about anything that they're doing.
You said about distances. Sorry, like distances. Like when Renée Zellweger escapes the first time, she runs to Darla's office, the porter cabin from the house.
Yeah,
right.
Which again is close enough to civilization that high school kids can drive past and get her to flash them out the window.
yeah, and actually, now you say that as well. When she does flash
not in the middle of nowhere.
There's a house the other side of the road.
There's also a house across the road, yeah, who just belongs to some old fart that we never really found out who's there. But it's not the middle of nowhere. It's kind of, it's almost like they're trying to make out that it is the middle of nowhere, but it just can't be. It just can't be. Like like I say, the kids leave the prom at 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, and they end up at the house by maybe 11:30. You know what I mean? It's not like they drive all night and then find themselves there.
No, because this does end by dawn. So there's a set amount of time this can happen between. And within that set amount of time, there's only a set amount of distance you can travel. Yeah. So you're right. You've probably got 6 or 7 hours with all this shit happening.
And it's far enough, or close enough rather, that Darla can go and get pizza and take it home, and it's not stone cold inedible garbage by the time you get there. It's a viable option for dinner.
You mean
this pizza
shop that's apparently open all night?
I was kind of intrigued by the concept of drive-through pizza. I don't think I've ever seen drive-through pizza. I
don't think I have either. But even when you look at that scene, there's some shops in the distance. There's lights.
It's on like a what passes for a high street or
like a business estate or something.
Oh
like that. Yeah. We're everywhere with this film because this film is everywhere. So I'm going to go back and forth. There was something I noted down which shockingly I laughed at. So the prom at the beginning, right? It's basically nothing. We got the 4 kids. We got Jenny and Sean. Sean's pathetic boyfriend of Renée Zellweger, and then we have the cool kids, Barry and Heather. Barry gets caught making out with another girl, which then leads to Heather getting in the car, driving off. Then letting Barry in the car. Then they find Jenny and Sean in the back. That's how the 4 of them get in the car.
Yeah.
When Heather is having a go at Barry about what she's just seen him doing, he is so defensive. And I wrote this down. He was like, I kissed her once. What's wrong with that? It's like I can't even talk to my friends anymore.
I mean. There's a lot, actually.
And then he starts talking about, like, he needs to basically get his leg over, otherwise he's going to get prostate cancer or something.
Get cancer. My father's a doctor, so I know something about this. It's like every sort of cliched teenager's excuse for...
It's basically her fault. It's her fault that he did this.
Yeah.
Because she
won't have sex with him. He's an absolute asshole.
Absolute arsehole.
But talking about the prom scene, there's a teacher that's like hammered. Just, or at least I took him to be a teacher because he says I hate kids. So
yeah, it's that school. Yeah, and there's another character as well that Heather talks to, a young girl. And
the other girl who's like having some sort of serious mental breakdown. Who's like, oh, that's why she's doing this. That's why she's doing this. She's saying these things, and that's why she's complete in the throes of like some sort of serious episode. It's really weird. Yeah,
and we get nothing, no follow up, no setup, no follow up, no payoff, just that. So in the writing room,
that's why she's a bitch or whatever it is she says. Yeah,
in the writing room, this was just we got to. Prom. We got to flesh this prom out just a little bit. We're not going to put too much of the prom in. If he's had a bad night, we'll write this down, and then we're off. What?
If somebody had spiked the punch, maybe. I think that's all we can.
Yeah, that's
all we can say.
This film is very much. I think you take the Texas Chainsaw Massacre name away from it, give it something else.
Who wrote this?
I thought Kim Henkel wrote. Really? I know Kim Henkel.
Writing credit. Well, I mean, they got writing credits. It's written by Henkel, but Hooper got a credit for it, but that for characters. So I guess it might just be that Leatherface is in it. I suppose he was given a credit.
Yeah, it could have been that. But it's a '90s teen slasher. I mean, it is a slasher. Three people die. 3 kids die.
Yeah, it's not. It's very light on the horror.
Oh, very much so.
And very light on the blood and gore, which doesn't necessarily mean very much because famously the original is, but it doesn't feel like you're watching a horror film at all.
No.
It could just be like a particularly bonkers episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or Buffy. Or
yeah, you could condense this to a half hour, 45-minute long episode of something
Erie, Indiana.
Yes.
Any sort of vaguely horror adjacent show from the 90s, it feels very much like that.
I mean, I appreciate it was an hour and 20 long.
Yeah, it's not sure.
It's very short. I mean, this is also the cut version. There was the original version was over, I think, an hour and a half long. Like there was a lot more.
Yeah.
There were. I read up. There was more shown right at the beginning, like the first scene when Renée Zellweger's getting ready, related to her and abusive stepdad. Just to flesh out a character a little bit more, it wouldn't have helped. I don't see how it would have helped along the lines of the film. Wouldn't have meant anything.
I suppose, apart from her being so weirdly at ease with the absolute chaos in the dining room, in the dinner table.
Yeah, that may have helped with her being able to deal with whatever the hell was going on. She may have been a bit more, okay, I've had to deal with this shit at home. Okay, I have to deal with it now then. With you crazy bastards. The film itself, though, how much brown sepia tone they put on this film. This is the brownest film I think I've ever seen. It's just brown lighting everywhere, and they did not spare no expense on the smoke machines for the wooded areas. I guess to give the impression it was far away in a forest in a wooded area, even though it was just in a little nature valley down the side of the neighborhood. But yeah, it's a very dull tone lit film. Everything's brown. The house is so brown. The house is a shithole. I mean, not even in a interesting shithole like we said about the original. This is just a dilapidated squalor of a house.
Yeah. Like I say, it kind of loses a lot of the charm of
yeah.
With the like I said, we've mentioned there are some little interesting details here and there, but by and large, it's not as interesting as as the set dressing of the house in the original, or
No.
even some of the other sequels. There's another little bit of trivia for you that I think you might be interested in. The WWE wrestler Deborah,
Yeah.
is one of the cops at Bud's Pizza.
Shut up. Hang
So
on.
I don't think she's only in the car. I don't think you really get a good look at her. But yeah, Deborah McMichael.
Yeah.
Who I believe was Jeff Jarrett's manager.
Dude,
And
she was many managers, but she was also Stone Cold Steve Austin's on-screen wife.
Ah, right, okay.
And
of course, yeah.
I think they were together in real life, and there was a bit of bad times with them. But yeah, Deborah. Hang on, I need to see this.
So yeah, she is one of the cops in Bud's Pizza place. So it's not the one that it's a male cop that gets out of the car and talks to Darla. So I think she's just.
Here we go. I've got the scene. I got the film on the computer. She's in the cut. Is that Deborah?
Apparently so. She's definitely credited as it.
This is 93. Is that right? I'm gonna look into this after. I've got a screen grab of her now. But 93, yeah, I suppose she was a lot younger. She was kind of
I think it was
mid
just
to late
before
90s.
I think it was just before she broke out as the wrestler.
Yeah. Wow, that is a really good little bit of trivia. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's something to look into. That is one of the most interesting parts of this film now.
There you go. I thought you'd like that. Something else that I liked was Vilmer's musical taste. He puts on some absolute banging tunes while he's chasing people around. It's all screaming 80s screaming guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any actual bands credited, I don't think.
Like in an OST or anything.
Yeah, I mean, not that I looked extensively, but
I found it. Found it.
Oh, there is. That's good.
On IMDb. So we got
IMDb.
Performed by Debbie Harry. Band called Push Monkey.
Yeah, I think it was bands no bands I'd heard of.
A lot of Eric and Eric, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. He made sure he had a good time while he was chasing down and riding over Sean back and forth. Yeah. He's just having a ball the whole time. He's having a great time. This whole film. And his last one of that when they're chasing Renée Zellweger across the countryside. So he sends Leatherface. He's like, "Get a Leatherface," and he says, "Vilma!" Shouts his own name. Oh,
it's very saturated with color. Those end scenes, like all the colors are like popping. Green of the grass and the blue of the sky, and everything's like ridiculously vivid.
It's because that most of the film is just dark and brown.
Yeah,
there's no color tone at all to the whole film,
and then all of the color at the end.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got too. It was hard to take notes on this film because I just knew we weren't gonna really talk about the film at length.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to talk about. But I really wanted us to do it because I thought it would be fun, and it is fun to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
I was gonna say, it is a difficult one. It ends on the classic Leatherface dance, or another version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a difficult one. It is kind of one of those you've got to see it to believe it. Like,
I do. Yeah.
I could sit here and just can't really stress in words how mental McConaughey's performance is. how weird of a film it is. I mean, yeah, glad I watched it. Definitely a bit of a completionist in me. I want to watch all the movies of the franchise. Glad I watched it. I do like 3 more. I just think it was more. I just found it more entertaining. This is. It's entertaining in a different way, but I can't see me going back to this anytime soon.
No, that's fair. I could definitely I can agree that 3 has more is it a word, rewatchability? Is it more rewatchable? I would say 3. I wouldn't say I'd rewatch it a lot, but if I had to choose out of the 2, I'd rewatch 3 again. This one, like I said earlier, is more special to me because it is bad. It is bad, but it's a guilty pleasure bad. It's not Antrim Outwater's bad that it's just not enjoyable and bad. This has just got a little something. I probably won't rewatch this for years and years and years. Maybe God knows how long. Who knows when? It might be when I'm talking to someone about it and they like, wait, what? What did you say? And like, yeah, let's fucking watch it. Let's put it on. Let's watch it. Yeah. Or I might be like, yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. I need to check it out again. But I can't think, is it a Saturday night we'll watch a horror film? Let's put on Texas Chainsaw 4. It's never going to happen. And a few other things I just wanted to point out that when I think it's Rothman towards the end. So our secret society man that pulls up in a limo, who's basically who Vilma and the family are working for. That's what Darla alludes to, that this is who they work for. He states, "I want these people to know the meaning of horror," and I was thinking, like, I think it's like a subtle message being put across by the director Hinkle in the sort of, I don't know, a sort of bragging way of saying, yeah, look what I was part of, and look what I can do. I can create horror. Look what I did in Texas Chainsaw 1. I can do it again. I want people to know the meaning of horror. You didn't know. You certainly didn't, and you haven't since the first one. You know, you got. I don't want to say you got lucky. You were fortunate with everything you produced for the first film, but everything afterwards, slow decline. I don't know. Maybe I was reading into it too much. I was kind of going down when I did my dissertation route, where you've got to try and read into everything when you're doing your dissertation. Is that what that means? It probably doesn't, but the budget for this film. Have you seen the budget for this film?
No, I don't.
A tasty $600,000.
That checks out.
I mean, where did that go? Higher in the crop dusting plane?
Maybe. fuel for the plane.
Yeah. And it only made just under $200,000.
I mean, yeah, again, it checks out.
Yeah. It's a really unique film. It really is. For such a big name to be tagged onto it.
Uh-huh.
I said earlier about all the big hitter franchises. The worst films in their franchises. I don't know. I mean, Halloween. Worst film in that franchise. Taking away the new trilogy. It's probably Resurrection, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Resurrection. It's probably Resurrection. Friday the 13th. Maybe.
I mean,
it's questionable.
I mean, Jason X. Or Goes to Hell.
Yeah, because Goes to Hell takes it on a different pathway.
Yeah.
The origins. But this one, I still don't think it's the worst.
I mean, it's probably not far off.
I would still watch this over Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was so frustrated with that film.
Yeah, because that gives you nothing.
No.
At least this, like, you know, it was clear, like I say, it was hoping for a sequel or whatever, and it does. enough different
Yeah.
to be noteworthy, I guess. I don't think it knows what it's doing.
No.
I think it tries to do maybe about 8 things at once and succeeds in none of them. But yeah, the Netflix one was just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre by numbers. Like, well, not even Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was just a boring slasher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was boring and it was frustrating. The characters were incredibly frustrating. The writing was really bad as well. I have seen though a lot of opinions that from people online. I've seen people's opinions online. Those people that will state that Netflix's adaptation is superb.
Oh, I know. I've seen people saying that, and they're idiots.
They're absolute idiots,
and shouldn't be let out unsupervised because they don't know
yes.
They're a danger to themselves and others. Another interesting little tidbit for you.
Listening.
Darla played Slim Shady's mom in the My Name Is video.
Now that actually is going to be quite easy. If I find it, that's going to be quite easy to tell the difference because they can't be that far off. Maybe 5 years. I think 98.
I mean, this was 94. 99 was Eminem's. I mean, I'm just going through the IMDb credits.
Yeah.
Because I was curious. I was just curious because I think when I was watching it, I thought she was familiar, and I was trying to work out what else I'd seen her in, and it turned out there was nothing else that I'd seen her in. But I was like, oh, but she was in that. But it can't have been that I was recognizing her from.
Yeah, I've seen screen grabs here. It's quite hard to see her. But I'll believe you. I mean, it's only going off IMDb. She's great, and it says she's uncredited in the in the My Name Is video, but of course she is because who knows who's anybody bar the star in a music video generally. As far as the characters in the film, though, there's not much to really go into apart from people like Vilma, Rothman.
Yeah, well, like we said,
there's no depth to anyone else, and Darla, maybe.
Even Leatherface, the poster boy of the franchise, gets no real no real time in this. No real. It's all about Vilma, isn't it? It's all about his.
It's Vilma.
Performance, if you want to psychosis.
Outstanding performance. Outstanding. I'll have you know. But yeah,
in that it stands out certainly.
Yeah, but WE is not his brother. We know Leatherface is Vilma's brother. They're brothers. WE, we don't. He's just. There's no depth to him. There's nothing. He's just a bit. He's just there.
My note on WE is, and it is a note, it basically says, W.E. Slaughter, quoting Ulysses S. Grant, and that's his personality. Because
I think he
doesn't really do anything else.
I think he quotes a few other famous people, like just famous historic people, yeah.
He does, but that is literally all he does. And it's...
Yeah.
Even that is just kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
And
then Darla has somewhat of depth to her with whatever job she's just a cook, but
again she's so out of place for the.
Oh yeah,
she's this quite smartly attired businesswoman. It's like we say, it's not really clear what she does or what she sort of pretends to do with this office. But how did her and Vilma meet? And there's a little bit of Mickey and Mallory kind of, she's in love with him, so we'll follow him down the path of his madness kind of going on. But then she also mentioned something about him having put a bomb in her head or something as well.
I didn't catch that.
She says something to Jenny at one point when she's tied to the chair, I've got to do this because he's put something in my head, and if I disagree with him, bang. But we never get any like evidence for that. It's just something she says. So.
But she also states, I could go back to my husband anytime if I wanted.
Yeah. So there's
What? You left your husband for this?
I want to see how they met and like why this came about. There is another film in here somewhere. There is another story in there.
You're telling me this is better than your other life? This is better. Okay. All right. Whatever you like. So another little thing. I don't remember why I did this. It was because it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre Day a couple of weeks ago. I did a little ranking. Just every now and then I do this for franchises personally. I did it on the Twitter and on the Dreadcast Twitter, which is at the _Dreadcast. Getting out of the way now. And I did my personal ranking of the franchise. So we got, obviously, number one is the number one. That should be there, set in stone. And number two was number two for me. So 1 and 2 are 1 and 2. Number 3, I put the 2003 remake.
Yeah, I think I'd reverse those personally.
Yeah, that's fair. I completely,
because I do like 2, but I think I want horror more than the comedy from this franchise.
I get that. I mean?
But yeah, I'm with you.
That's right, Caroline Williams. I put you at number 2. I liked your performance, but I'm not going to go on about it. Number 4 is where we get a little bit controversial, because I put this film at number 4. Oh, such a big eye roll. Oh, to the audio listeners, he literally, oh god, I could see so much of the whites of his eyes then when he rolled those eyes. So number 4 was Texas Chainsaw Part 4. Number 5, I put Texas Chainsaw The Beginning, which was the prequel to the remake.
Yeah.
Number 6 is where Part 3 comes in. That might change because I haven't seen it in a while, and after what we've been talking about through this episode, I think I need to go watch it again.
Yeah.
And that might change. I think that's going to get bumped up. Number 7 is Texas Chainsaw 3D. That film is not great. Number 8, I gave it to Netflix. Number 9, I gave it to Leatherface. That film is... That is another prequel origin story in its own universe, and I think it's horrendous. It's horrendous. So whereabouts are you on your watch along of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise?
We have just done the remake. The early 2000s one, whenever it was.
2003.
Yeah.
We've
that was the last one that we did. And to be honest, we've just not really watched many films since then. Doing other things. So yeah, we've so that's where we're up to. I will.
So you've got the prequel now to that.
So that's the next one, is the prequel, which I do like the beginning. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then it will be.
It's 3D. Yeah, 3D. Texas Chainsaw 3D. Yeah. And then it's Leatherface.
Leatherface, which I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've seen Leatherface. I have seen 3D. And then I guess we'll do the other one. The
Again?
Netflix one.
Oof.
I mean, yeah, because I watched it with the missus, and I don't think she's seen it, so I'll sit through it. I'll sit through it with her.
Horrible man, you evil man.
I'll probably just be on my phone.
Yeah.
I'll probably just be on my phone.
That sounds more fun than watching that abomination again. So, do you know what? That's Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Do you have many more?
I don't.
No,
I don't have anything else to say about it. I think we've covered everything. Yeah, I mean, it's worth
ride.
watching to see it. It's what it is. Yeah, it's a ride that's worth riding at least once.
It is.
Definitely. Like I said, I watched it not that long ago for the first time, and I was like, I wasn't.
Alexa, piss off.
Thank you, Alexa. I wasn't quite ready for another viewing, but I needed to watch it again to just refresh my memory.
I'm so sorry.
So
I'm so
it's all right. It's okay. I was quite angry with you, but I'm over it. I skimmed through it and I watched it more or less in double speed. I just sort of like.
Oh, you missed all the good points and good moments.
Yeah, well, you know, I think I caught up enough with it to think, oh yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah,
but I had blocked it out quite a lot. So yeah, it'll be a good long while before I pick it up again. But yeah, if you've not seen it, you know, definitely jump on it and give it a spin, because it needs to be seen to be believed. And let us know your thoughts. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? You've been sat through this and thinking, what these two idiots talking about? It's clearly the best sequel.
I think to tag along with that as well, with watching it, is watch it to see where Matthew Mcconaughey and Renée Zellweger came from.
Yeah,
that's a really interesting point to see where these incredible big time actors nowadays have come from. Obviously, a lot of time they start TV shows, they do the odd hit or the independent films. No, this was a big film in one of the biggest horror franchises ever. I mean, it wasn't a big film, but it was in one of the biggest horror franchises ever, and that's where they started, near enough. Obviously, Days Are Confused and a few other small things, but
Matthew McConaughey, Best Actor 2014, Renée Zellweger, multi-award Oscar winners, Best Actress 3 times. And Best Supporting Actress. So she got Best Actress in 2002 and 2003, Best Supporting in 2004, and then Best Actress again in 2020. So 4 Oscars.
2002,
starting.
Did you say?
Yeah.
So you're talking 9 years after the production of this film.
Yeah.
I think this started in 93, the production, maybe 94. So 8 years then. Might be wrong. But either way, to go from that to an Oscar, or nominated for an Oscar in just under a decade, you know, take the jobs when you can get them in the acting industry. But yeah, it's not. It's far from a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, far. But I'd recommend it. We recommend it.
Again, it's another one of those. If you've not seen it, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
And if you have seen it, then you've probably been like sort of sagely nodding along to a lot of what we've been saying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you're a completionist, then yeah, don't skip it. For the franchise, it's definitely one to, you know, if you're gonna drop a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, skip the Netflix one. Do skip that. Yeah, skip the Netflix one.
Yeah,
but definitely give this a spin at least once if you've not watched it. For sure. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for me, Tom.
I think that wraps it up for me for our part 1 on our Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 retrospective series.
Oh, you're doing a solo episode on it?
No. What are you talking about? Yes. It's done. It's in the books. Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Next Generation. It's in the books. We're back now. We're back. The Dreadcast is back for the spooky autumn season. It's the best time of year for horror films. It always is. It just feels right. It just always feels right.
It does. I mean, it needs to start feeling right.
It does.
It's still a little bit warm. It's cooled down significantly, but it's still not feeling exactly like autumn and...
No.
You know...
But the evenings are drawing near. You know, the dark's drawing nearer. Leaves are falling.
Going the right way.
All the orange decorations are coming out. So, yes.
Our house looks like a Halloween shop. Definitely.
Lovely, love it.
All kinds of Halloween decks up. So,
next time we are back to the Monsters of Universal series, and fingers crossed it will all record properly this time. Mm-hmm. I think we're both doing one now. We both haven't seen, right? We're doing one we both haven't seen.
Yeah.
Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this. Looking forward to it. So that'll be episode 55 next time on the Dreadcast.
Oh, that reminds me.
Oh my god! Hold up, folks.
That reminds me what my other horror-related news was.
Hold up, we've got some news.
Do you know the 19 Crimes brand of wine?
Oh.
The red wine, the 19 Crimes stuff. It's always got a picture of like somebody that was transported to Australia in Victorian times. Also, Snoop Dogg did one.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah. I do know.
they've just done some horror editions with Cheers to the Infamous. They've got a Dracula and a Frankenstein.
So what you're saying is we need to test this wine on the podcast.
You know, that's not what I was saying, but we can do that. Yeah, I saw it earlier and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, so one of the things with the brand is that you can scan it with your phone. They'll scan the label with your phone and it'll give you some facts and it kind of animates it and stuff.
Well, that's cool.
So you get so yeah, they've done a Frankenstein's monster.
Yep.
And a Dracula edition. And yeah, you get a little animated Dracula on the label when you scan it with the app. It's cool.
Frankenstein's monster adds Frankenstein Dracula to its wine lineup. Oh, and it glows in the dark.
Oh, there's a skeleton one as well, which is pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I see the skeleton.
And if you are a wine drinker, it's good stuff. It's pretty good stuff.
I do like my wine.
Quite partial to a 19 Crimes.
Right, I'm going to look out for this, and I'm going to try and get this for the podcast, and hopefully be drinking it in our Freddy vs. Jason merchandise.
Hoodies. That'll be it. Next episode. Yeah. Freddy vs. Jason clothing head to foot. Bottle of Dracula Charbly or whatever it is.
Oh, it's like it's blood. Lovely. Perfect.
Excellent.
Well done and remembered that. Because that's great. Yes, I have seen that wine before, so I will look out for that.
It was the Universal did it. So yes, Invisible Man, we will be doing that.
Yes.
It's going to be a new one to both of us. So yeah, looking forward to that.
And then whatever we can muster up for the busy month of October.
Indeed, we need to have a little chat about that.
We do. We'll talk about that We'll talk about this later.
Righty dokey. Well. Yeah.
Well, folks.
Without further ado, folks.
Oh, before we do that, not that people make it this far anyway. You can find this wonderful podcast and all previous episodes and a brand new trailer breakdown, not reaction, on Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which should be either out now or out soon by the time you listen to it. Either way, it'll be out. And you can find that on the YouTube channel. You can find this episode and past episodes on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, and Podbean, or by searching the Dreadcast. And you can find us on social media, Instagram and Twitter, by searching _Dreadcast.
And if you want to send us an email,
that was the other
with your suggestions, your comments, your thoughts, you can email at thedreadcastpod@gmail.com. That is thedreadcastpod@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Oh! Okay, we do have a new email.
As if by magic.
Someone's ordered something with our email address. It says, congratulations, order confirmed. What is it? Okay, McCafe. The virus protect. Alright, I gotta start blocking some things on this, so I'll be getting onto that.
Maybe we won't have an email.
Maybe we won't have an email
for much longer. Maybe it's something we need to get rid of before it gets us into some kind of trouble.
I might not have any money by the next time this podcast comes out, so we'll see.
Well, until next time.
Until then, on that bombshell.
On that bombshell. Stay spooky.